Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's session, we have Mr. Ashish Kumar. Ashish is a batchmate from ISB, but he's way more mature and experienced than me, both formally and informally. He has been working with Amazon for the last 3 years, if I'm not wrong, in a program
Mhm,
management role. What
mhm,
fascinated me to invite him to this conversation was that a lot of people throw around words like program management, account management, and category management in startups and behemoths, but nobody actually understands what the meaning of these roles is. What does your JD look like? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? So, to help us out, we have Ashish with us. So, my first question to Ashish is, what is the difference between a program manager and a category manager when we look at Amazon?
sure. First of all, pleasure to speak to you, Sarthak. Thank you so much for asking me to share my thoughts.
Sure.
So, so fairly different roles, right? A category manager, as the name specifies, practically has the ownership of P&L
Yeah.
for categories in the e-com business. So categories could be toys, laptops, skincare,
Hmm.
etc. And of course, subcategories over there. So depending on the level of the category manager. But over there, your focus is on ensuring that you maximize your profits over there. Selection of products that get listed, that will be an important thing. You'll be partnering a lot with the ads teams, for example. You'll be designing a bunch of
Hmm.
different mechanisms to ensure that the products have maximum visibility to sell. So,
Yeah.
so a lot of that work goes into category management.
Hmm.
Program management on the other side is very different. Over here, you will be having ownership end to end of different either technical or non-technical programs, ensuring that they are planned out in the right manner. Uh, Timeline management is important. Risk mitigation is important. Risk identification and risk mitigation.
Hmm.
You have to have a keen eye on influencing partnering teams, probably without having any direct authority over them.
Hmm.
So it's super important to make or to have the ability to make arguments using data,
Hmm.
keeping the customer in mind. So slightly different objectives.
Hmm.
Uh, Category management on one side is very directly impacting the business directly in terms of
Hmm.
sales that are happening to the e-com business that we have.
Yeah.
Program management may or may not directly impact the business. Of course, there will be a secondary or tertiary order of impact to the business, but
Hmm.
the focus is specifically the program that you're running. I think
Got it.
as the conversation progresses, maybe we can go deeper into program management, talk about the
Yeah.
different kinds of programs that
Yeah.
are being run, and I can maybe spend some more time on
Sure.
that.
And can
Yeah,
you delve deeper into what does a program manager do by giving us an example of one of your recent projects that you finished?
absolutely. So before that, I'll take a step back and I'll try to explain that even program management, and this is something I wasn't aware of before joining Amazon, that even the program management area can be divided into two or three broad buckets. Uh, the first separation would be in terms of technical program management and then non-technical program management.
Got it.
So very clearly defined roles, which are slightly different within Amazon.
Hmm.
Technical, as the name specifies, you'll be working on, let's say, certain generative AI projects where you're in the process of development of certain products. You'll be partnering much more closely with engineers and product managers, and you'll be focusing on the delivery of technical programs.
Got it.
On the non-technical side, again, there'll be another bracket which comes into the picture. So there is an IC role, so an individual contributor role for program managers on the non-tech side,
Okay.
and you also have a people manager role.
Hmm.
Within Amazon, if I start sharing, and maybe I'll talk. So there are different levels within Amazon: level five,
Hmm.
level six, level seven.
Yeah.
I can maybe talk about the level that I'm operating at, which is level six.
Hmm.
So on the level six IC technical program management side, the designation will be senior program manager technical, so senior PMT
Okay.
or TPM.
Yeah.
It's used interchangeably occasionally, but technical program manager,
Hmm.
senior technical. So senior TPM L6 is that designation over there.
Got it.
On the non-tech side, you will have the individual contributor role, which will be a senior PM, SPM,
Okay.
senior program manager. That's an L6 role, non-tech within uh, probably the operation side or non-tech side of things. There's also another role which I'm operating in, which is a program plus people manager role.
Okay.
So this is called a manager of program management. So I
Oh.
have a team of program managers reporting into
Mm.
me. I also have teams of operations managers who are reporting into me.
Got
And
it.
under them, of course, there are also associates who are working on day-to-day production related activities.
Got it.
So at a very broad level, yeah, these three cohorts of program management roles that I am very well, or at least very privy to.
Yeah.
There might be some exceptions. Amazon being a company with over a million employees, 1.5 million employees
Wow.
globally. So there could be certain other cohorts also, but these are the three primary cohorts. I operate on the non-tech side, specifically in the program plus people manager role. It's called manager program management or manager three program management, depending on which
Mm.
org you're working with.
Mm.
Uh, Over here, I can take an example of a recent project. So one of the teams that I'm developing is a prompt engineering team. So one of the products that we have is to improve catalog quality.
Mm.
Uh, so whatever you see on when you're shopping for a product on the Amazon product detail page, uh, it's not uncommon to see certain mistakes on the detail pages because the product catalog is so vast, having billions of
Mm.
products globally.
Yeah.
It's very hard to, and there's a lot of freedom given to our selling partners and our vendors to update details on the detail page. So there is inadvertently there's a lot of quality issues and incorrect information, conflicting information on the same detail page.
So when you say
Uh,
catalog, that means if Sarthak is searching for Apple iWatch Ultra, there might be a
yeah,
chance that a Bolt watch or a Boat watch comes up in the search page.
that would be very such issues do happen, but that's more unlikely. But
Hmm.
let's say if you are searching for Apple is still a very high selling product, so of course there's a lot of focus over there. But let's say hypothetically you're buying a mid-range phone, right?
Hmm.
So a mid-range phone, let's say about 20,000 rupees on Amazon. You've
Hmm.
been able to reach the detail page, so now
Hmm.
you're able to see that product, whatever brand X
Hmm.
phone. The title on the top might say the color is black for that matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the information in the middle that customers see might be saying white. Now,
Yeah.
for you as a customer, it becomes very confusing, right? Like,
Confusing.
what are you exactly buying? And then
Right.
adds to the cognitive load that you have. You might not end up buying that product because of this confusion. So that's
Very
specifically the
true.
area that we are trying to solve through generative AI. So there's an internal project that we've been working on for the last 1.5 years. We've seen great strides in that area.
Wow.
Now we've reached at a stage in that project where catalog quality has improved significantly. We've at every product type level and every attribute, or so size and color, etc., are all attributes
Yeah.
of the product. Product types are like mobile phones or
Hmm.
I don't know, like laptops, etc.
Yeah.
So at this level, we have very detailed prompts which prompt these models to do well. Now
Hmm.
that the prompts are built, the practically the first round of work from the applied scientists is over, but it's very important to ensure that the models don't drift. The quality of these large language models, these prompts, is working well. So
Hmm.
to ensure that, I am building a team of prompt engineers
Hmm.
uh, from scratch, right?
Got
So
it.
so so to ensure that the quality of these prompts in the long term uh, does not deteriorate and it keeps on improving.
Yeah.
Now, so everything from the point of identifying what the pain point is. So the pain point in this case was, okay, so we have X number of applied scientists. We have the number of prompts that we've created are in an order of almost 1,000 of the number of scientists that we have,
Hmm.
right? So it's not scalable to have applied scientists to keep refining and fine-tuning prompts to the nth degree. Once you take it to, let's say, an 80% or an 85% level, the
Hmm.
remaining 15-20% does not need that bandwidth. So
Very
that
true.
was the pain point that we encountered, that models were stagnating beyond a certain point of time and we were getting choked for bandwidth.
Got it.
The solution was that we don't need necessarily a very strong statistician or large language model expertise to refine these prompts beyond a certain limit. So we can operate with program managers and catalog specialists, as we call them within Amazon, who
Hmm.
have a strong understanding of what the catalog is, who have a strong understanding of who have a lot of common sense, because after a point there is a lot of common sense involved in refining prompts. So
Very.
identifying that pain point, then presenting that proposal, sharing the pros and cons of what could happen. Once you're able to get alignment from your leadership teams across these partnering orgs, then ensuring that you slowly start building this team, so, perform pilots, give
Hmm.
a strong proof of concept that yes, this model is working, uh, share the estimated benefits of what this could be, present what in Amazon we call a PRFAQ, which is even before you make something happen on the ground, you create a press release, so a desired future state, what some other people might call, right? So like a one
Mm.
pager which talks about when the product is launched or when this service is launched 1.5 years later or 1 year later. If you had to put out a press release, what would that press release look like, right? So you
Got it.
write that down, and
Mm.
then you work backwards from that experience and build this team end to end, uh, define the success metrics, launch the team,
Mm.
and then continuously monitor the metrics, and then of course expand it once you have that initial success.
Very
That's
interesting.
one example of
Mm.
what we would do
No,
in
that's
this
very
case.
nuanced and very, very, very good bucketing of the kinds of
Mhm.
PM roles as well. And talking about your interview with Amazon,
Mhm.
uh, I know that Amazon is infamous for conducting a lot of interview rounds, but I
Mhm.
wanted to know your experience so that we can also understand how a program manager role is interviewed for and what do you have to prepare for.
Yeah. So the program management role, at least the one that I've applied for, is a non-tech bucket. So there are no specified rounds for coding, for example, right? Or any nuanced specialized rounds. So the rounds are very generalist in nature. So this would, in a similar vein, applied also for maybe category management role, business development roles, and similar roles which are non-specialist in nature, more generalist in nature.
Hmm.
Uh, the first step in the process is you find out what role you want to work for, and then you apply for that role. If possible, try to get a referral. That helps a little bit. I wouldn't say that makes too much of a difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference in terms of your resume getting highlight.
Got it.
Once you get the shortlist, the first stage of the process is called a phone screen. Phone screen is like a 30 to 45-minute conversation with the hiring manager,
Hmm.
where they just want to gauge that, okay, the resume looks promising, but once I talk to the candidate, uh, are they like a good enough fit for the role so that we can invest the next stage of hiring, which is
Hmm.
pretty intensive, right?
Okay.
For that. So this is practically an elimination round once resume uh, selection or shortlisting is done.
Hmm.
Phone screen 30 to 45-minute conversation. The interviewer will typically focus on your background, your interest in the role, the reason for leaving your previous role, just to get a basic idea of how motivated you are for this one and how good a fitment do you have.
Yeah.
That might last for 15 minutes. And then maybe they'll go deeper into one behavioral question. Let's say for a program manager, dive deep might be an important leadership principle.
Hmm.
So people listening might be aware that Amazon is infamous for being very regimented on the 16 leadership principles that we have.
Yeah.
So so you would have a, so depending on the role that you're going in for, one of the most critical leadership principles, let's say dive deep for a program manager might be super important. The ability to go deep, find the root cause, solution things, and depending on the level, the complexity will vary in the questioning, right? So
Got it.
so maybe the interviewer will spend 20 to 25 minutes, go deeper into that, and if the person is able to share examples that meet the bar,
Hmm.
they will progress to the next stage, which is called the on-site stage. On-site, I think historically the term was there because pre-COVID, most people would come on the physical campus and then have the interview.
Okay.
That's changed since then. People realize it's too cost intensive to do that, so most interviews do happen on Zoom,
Okay.
at least in near odds. Over there, you'll have about four interviews on site, and then a round called a bar raiser round. Uh, I can maybe spend a few minutes talking about these. So
Yeah.
all of the interviewers will be from in a job family similar to the one that's being hired at, and at a level. So let's say if you're hiring a level 6 program manager, so all of the interviewers will be either level 6 employees in the program management job family or above. So there could be level 7, also level 8, also in one of the rounds. So that will be the mix of the interview panel. Uh,
Very nice.
every panelist is given two or three leadership principles that are core to the job. So I spoke about one being dive deep for program management,
Yeah.
but have backbone, like the ability to disagree and share your point of view. That's an important one.
Hmm.
Having customer obsession is super important for any role across
Any role.
Amazon.
Yeah. Very true.
High ownership is extremely important. So about 8 or 9 of these leadership principles will be divided across these four interviewers.
Hmm.
The four interviewers before the bar raiser stage will typically be from the same org that's hiring. So let's say if the role is for an org called Global Catalog Operations, right?
Hmm.
So most of these four interviews will be like a couple of L6 interviews from the same org and the L7, and maybe one interview with the L8 also, with the director of the org.
Hmm.
They gauge the responses are expected to be in a star format. So just to make it very comprehensible for the person interviewing, you explain the situation that you were in. So effectively, the problem statement, the task that you specifically had in this entire engagement, the example that you're giving for the question that's been asked,
Yeah.
the actions that you specifically took. So
Hmm.
isolating that from the actions of the entire team,
Hmm.
uh, and then the results of the impact that you've been able to create through this
Got it.
work.
Hmm.
Very important for the people who are answering these interviews is to isolate their work. So see, most of the work we do is in the form of a team. So
Yeah.
nobody is oblivious to that. People do acknowledge that, of course, it's a team effort that would have led you to reach the final stage and achieve the outcome that you were trying to achieve.
True.
But what were your isolated contributions? What was the impact? If you're able to isolate the impact you were able to bring in, that really adds a lot of value to the interview.
Hmm.
So these four rounds happen. You answer. So questions will be of the nature that, just to give you an example, right? Let's say if dive deep was the
Hmm.
question, was the leadership principle. So I might ask a question along the lines of, can you give me an example from your past working experience where you had to dig deep to get to the root cause?
Got it.
Uh, how was that journey like? Why was it complex? So
Hmm.
so I'll keep asking more and more questions. I'll typically spend about 20 minutes per question
Got it.
and get to the point where I'm convinced that I have all data points to make a decision on the candidate,
Yeah. Right.
right? So that's what would happen. Then there would be a bar raiser round. Now, many people have a confusion that they have to prepare differently for the bar raiser round. None of that is necessary.
Okay.
Sometimes you will not even figure out who the bar raiser is in the interview stage because sometimes the interview might happen as a third interview or a second interview.
Okay.
That's also a possibility. Bar raiser is effectively a concept that's been brought into Amazon, and many other companies are also trying to replicate that. It's because let's say if I'm a hiring manager, right? I
Hmm.
have a burning need in my team. So, so I have an incentive to hire any decent candidate uh, who might not necessarily raise the bar of employees at Amazon. So
True.
the bar raiser is brought in to enforce like an external check over there. So bar raiser will be outside of the org that's hiring for the employee.
Hmm.
So they have an incentive to ensure that the hiring standards of Amazon are maintained. So if I as a hiring manager want to hire someone just to prevent this burning need, the person might not be the perfect fit for the job. The bar raiser will be there to effectively have a systemic check on that
Got it.
on such a practice happening. But apart from that, the bar raiser also has a couple of leadership principles aligned to them. They will also ask very similar questions. Your answers have to be exactly as you've answered in the previous rounds.
Hmm.
So other than that, nothing else changes from a bar raiser perspective.
Got
Once these 5 rounds happen, then the debrief happens after that. Debrief is where everyone shares their initial votes about the candidate. The bar raiser typically conducts that debrief session, typically 30 to 45 minutes.
got it.
If everyone's inclined, great, the person is hired.
Hmm.
If three people are inclined, two are not inclined, then there's a bit
Hmm.
the bar raiser, tries to bring consensus to the room. And typically, people only leave that room when there's a consensus. So either everyone's agreed to hire the candidate or everyone's disagreed. Something like
Hmm.
a much smaller and version of, let's say, 12 Angry Men. Uh, not exactly that though,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then of course a hire or no hire call is made and communicated to the candidates. That's typically what the process looks like. About
Hmm.
6 fairly intensive interviews if you also include the phone screen round.
So I was saying that, as you suggested, it requires a lot of introspection on, relating each of the 16 Amazon principles with a work episode or a personal anecdote from your life.
That's right.
Got it. Got it.
It does. I
Hmm.
mean, if I can spend a couple of minutes on that one also, right? Like in
Sure.
terms of preparation, if somebody, like let's say when I was preparing for the role, uh, it does require you to at least focus on the last 3 years of your career.
Yeah.
Go deep into it. Just jot down what contributions you've made that you are proud of.
Hmm.
Try to tag them to the leadership principles. Again, I'm not a big fan of over preparation also. You don't have to spend weeks and months to prepare for this.
Hmm.
But at the same time, winging it becomes hard when you're giving the interview.
Got it.
Uh, Having a good breadth of experiences. So, one of the things that we look at during the debrief is how often has an employee or a candidate share the same experience for three, four different scenarios, right?
Oh, got it.
Because if you're sharing the same experience, let's say across four interviewers for and trying to force fit it into different scenarios,
Hmm.
first of all, that shows. So the interviewer experience will not be very great because the answer is not really fitting into the mold it was supposed to. But
Hmm.
the bigger issue is that then during the debrief, once we identify that, okay, what are the, this has been happening pretty frequently, then you do question that, okay, is the candidate's breadth of experience or bar raising projects not as high as it should have been? And that raises some questions on the
Hmm.
employee, on the candidate's, potential hiring
Got it.
situation.
Got it.
So, so have a good breadth of about 8 to 10 experiences, I would say is a very, very good number. If you've had like 8 to 10 strong experiences that you're able to link to these leadership principles,
Hmm.
and if you're able to quantify the impact over there, like in some shape or form, and wherever you can't, you be honest and upfront about it instead of,
Hmm. Got it.
if you've
And
done that, then I think you have a very good chance of getting through.
got it.
Yeah.
And one last question for you, which is fairly controversial.
Mhm.
So, if you did not go to ISB, do you
Mhm.
think you would have made a move to Amazon?
That's an interesting question. It's a hypothetical, right? So
Hmm.
hard to say.
Hmm.
One reason for making a move to ISB was to move into Amazon. So Amazon was one of the companies that I did want to move in. Prior to ISB, I was working at New Sigma, which is in the data analytics space. So
Yeah.
worked about 6.5 years over there, 3 years in India, 3.5 years in New York. So
Yeah.
when I applied to ISB, I was in New York City, and I wanted to move back to India. And the thought process was that I would want to pursue an MBA just to give a slightly different trajectory to my career. And Amazon was one of the companies I wanted to move into.
Hmm.
So, but definitely, I know a bunch of people who are in Amazon, who are in parallel roles as mine, who've not, forget about ISP, have not even done an MBA.
Hmm.
So that's definitely possible. The path might be slightly longer. I wouldn't say, transformatively longer or shorter if you just come through ISP, but there
Hmm.
are some incremental differences. Like, typically, if you've done about 5 years of work experience prior to ISP, and
Hmm.
if you're able to get into Amazon, you will be offered an L6 role, a level
Wow.
6 role within Amazon.
Hmm.
Uh, the general path to get to level 6 for somebody who's not done an MBA might be 6, 7 years, depending on how great you've been in your career.
Got it.
Uh, so that average age might be, different by 2 or 3 years at
Hmm.
max, but you can definitely still get in. Getting
Hmm.
into higher roles in Amazon without an MBA or a very good pedigree in terms of work, that becomes harder.
Very
I,
difficult.
yeah.
Hmm.
So if you're very clear that you want to work at Amazon, but you don't want to pursue an MBA, my
Hmm.
suggestion will be try to make a switch earlier in your career,
Hmm.
get in as a level 4, level 5 employee, and then of course grow through the ranks because then there's no separation. Like everyone's on the same platform and you have to put in your contributions. Yeah,
Got it. Awesome. And thank you so much, Ashish, for this super insightful and detailed conversation. I'm pretty sure this will demystify all the doubts that a lot of ISB aspirants and program management applicants have about the role.
fantastic. Glad I could be of help. If there are any follow-up questions from your
Sure.
listeners, happy to do one
Sure.
more follow-up session if needed.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Great.
Ashish. Take care.
Have a good one. Chalo. Bye bye.
Bye.